Alright, so we are about to go up into Game 1 of the Grand Finals of this week's Netolic Raidcall Weekly Open Dota 2 Cup Americas. And I'm just still making up different ways to say that. Alright, so I'm Vickerman. Joining me is El Presidente. Why don't you introduce yourself again?
Hello, I'm El Presidente. That's all I got. I got nothing.
But alright, we're going to team up for this cast. It should be fun. We're going to see these two teams go up against each other. Two teams that we've been following this tournament. Last week, obviously, No Fire West Bottom did actually take out this America's Cup. And then Ice has been doing very well, too, in some of these Netolic-sponsored tournaments. I do know that they won the Latin Challenge, I think, last week, and they're in the Grand Finals again this week. So definitely a team that's also doing very, very strongly in these tournaments. And so seeing these two teams go up against each other should be interesting. Looks like we're going to go up in the draft right now. So, do you know of any particular drafting strategies that either of these teams typically employ?
Seen No Fire West Bottom play at all.
All right.
I have no idea what goes through their head, but you know,
I've seen a couple of their games. These are two teams that I do know they do draft pretty strategically. So I saw Ice play Sick Gaming on Friday in the semifinal, and they completely outdrafted them in one game. They just had a very, very smart Jakiro pick that was just very, very effective against the 4 melee or whatever that Sick were running.
This is so far like the most typical draft phase I have seen, and it's so fast. Look at this. Like, what is this extra time? Look at this. Nothing really extraordinary. Queen of Pain even, like, that's semi-extraordinary, but nothing special so far.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to point out is that No Fire actually picking up Rubik a little earlier than you usually see him, but they pair it up with the Magnus. So not only do they pick Magnus, but they immediately also pick up the sort of semi-Magnus counter pick. So Ice not able to use either their second or third picks to take the Rubik if they wanted to do it to try to steal the spells of the Magnus. So they sort of enfold both the Magnus and its opposite, so to speak.
Absolutely. Rubik is just one of those heroes that he's been seeing a lot more play recently. It's actually kind of extraordinary how much more play he's been seeing as of late. Because there was that period of time after DreamHack where he pretty much completely disappeared from Pro Dota. No one played him. And now he's back. And, okay, this one deserves mentioning.
Yeah.
Love the Silencer pick. Now, Silencer, brand new to tournament mode, along with Medusa, but Medusa's never going to see play, which makes me sad. But
well, you never know. She did get picked once.
She got picked by AL, and then AL got stomped. So, anyways, Silencer, really good hero. Last word, stupidly good. The fact that it really just silences for so long, 6-second silence is absurd. That's a 50% uptime as well, and the Curse of the Silent does a lot of damage as well.
Yep.
And then the global silence is the real big thing.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
You got someone channeling something on the other end. Well, screw them. They got silenced, and it's a 6-second silence too.
Oh
so
yeah, I can absolutely turn a fight very, very easily. And you can pair it up. Like, you can make sure that you can set up a really, really great Magnus or Risk Polarity just by making sure that the other team can't. The 6 seconds before you set that up, the other team can't actually use any of their repositioning, any of their other things. The one thing I think is interesting about Silencer is that teams don't seem to have really decided whether they want to run him primarily as, that old carry, semi-carry role that he used to play, or whether they want to run him as more like a team fight type support hero. Because we've seen both, and some of the teams, we've seen a lot of experimentation around how teams actually use him. How do you think No Fire are going to deploy him in this game?
I think they're going to be running him in the solo mid. I think there are issues running Silencer as a hard carry role because he's more of a snowballer than a farmer. He doesn't really benefit that much from farm. He loves the farm, don't get me wrong, but he benefits more from hero kills than he does from farm.
Yep.
Straight up. He gets the gold and the int from that. So I think he's usually played as I think he should be played as a solo mid rather than a farming hard carry in a lane.
Alright, so if they do run up the Silencer in the solo mid, do you think they're going to run something like the Magnus solo hard then?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Magnus is going to be fine if he finds the 1v1 against the Darkseer.
Oh, yeah.
To be quite honest, Magnus shouldn't have any issues with that. Silencer is also really good at Queen of Pain. Really, really good against Queen of Pain.
Sure.
Queen of Pain has some issues because she is such a mana and hungry hero. If she decides to break the last word just so she doesn't take the disarm as well as the silence, then she's in a bad situation. But if she does break it, then she gets her mana drained by Curse, and then she's in a really bad position.
Right. Well, also, if she takes some, I guess probably what they would do if they're going to run the Queen of Pain, if it's going to be Queen of Pain or Silencer in the middle, is you can train a couple more ranks of Blink than you normally would, just because Blink can take you both out of Curse range as well as breaking the last word for a fairly less mana intensive approach. But you need a couple ranks because you need the cooldown to come down far enough.
Last Word doesn't really drain mana though. Only Curse does. So you generally...
that's what I mean. What I mean is that Silencer is less likely to catch you when you're
less likely to catch. Yeah. But I think first of all, one of the Stranger Things, and this used to confuse me forever, Glaze of Wisdom is really poorly worded. It says that it will permanently steal 2 intelligence. It doesn't permanently steal anything. It just, you gain 2 intelligence.
I thought it does. It doesn't reduce, right? It's not.
It doesn't reduce. You just gain 2 intelligence.
No, wait. I think it does, unless they changed it in a patch. Because there was that Sing Sing VOD where he brought the entire enemy team down to 1 intelligence with Silencer.
I don't remember that because I've been playing Silencer for a while, right? Well, I haven't played him recently, but like I played him since this change, and I haven't really been seeing enemy ints pools getting smaller as we get killed.
Maybe they've changed it. I actually see a Medusa ban, which I think is pretty exotic coming out from Ice.
I think Ice was just like, we need to ban something. Yeah. Screw banning Medusa.
Well, they definitely had other. It's interesting. Maybe they wanted to sort of leave the pool a little more open. There were a bunch of carries getting taken out, so the second ban phase was all about carries, more or less. You see Lifestealer, Luna, Gyrocopter, Lone Druid, all these fairly popular semi to hard carries being taken out in this phase. Because, of course, both teams still looking for their #1 farmers. Since, like you said, I think it's not tremendously likely that Silencer is going to take the #1 role for No Fire.
No, No Fire is looking at 2-roll Silencer, 3-roll Mag, 4 or 5-roll Rubik. Ice Gaming, because they couldn't get the Lina, and Lina's a really common pick, even on the pro scene these days, but because they couldn't get the Lina Wombo combo with the Shadow Demon, they're going for the Jakiro just as good, to be honest. And South American teams, I know, really love Twin-Headed Dragon.
10 seconds.
And there's their off lane. What?
So this is interesting. So I think what's going to happen is that they're going to run this means Weaver is going to be in the solo lane, and then they'll run Magnus mid, and they'll actually run the Goblak style Silencer, where he's actually played as like a #4.
Support Silencer. That's interesting. It really depends on No Fire's last pick. This is actually a really good set of picks, honestly. It's so open, and it's really hard to...
It's a very well plotted out draft, because, when they took the Silencer, it wasn't 100% clear, are they going to run a mid, are they going to run him as a supporter, as a carry, and then that leaves them open, at this point, to take anything for their 5th pick, and really, they can make it work out.
I really like the Phantom Lancer pick. I think people kind of underestimate Phantom Lancer's ability, even without the cuddle. Phantom Lancer on his own, Tranquil Soul Ring, that's enough mana to keep him up in lane pretty much forever.
Right.
And it's very hard to kill a Phantom Lancer. One of the interesting things, though, that I see, and I personally think is kind of inefficient, is a 2nd level on Doppelwalk. You really don't need it. If you are needing to use your invis, an 8-second invis, more than once every 30 seconds, you're probably dead anyways.
I haven't seen too many teams actually investing that heavily into it. The thing I thought is interesting is sometimes we see people not even take any ranks of Doppelwalk, which I think is really ballsy. Like, I feel like I will never need to escape, so I just won't bother taking my escape ability.
Wow, this is
Enigma.
This is like a super weird lineup coming up from No Fire Wisdom. This is like as much team fight as you can get onto one team, like.
Oh yeah,
ever.
I mean definitely the Magnus Enigma, and like I mentioned earlier, the fact that they did draft that Rubik so early, almost earlier than you usually see him valued, left so much of an opening for them to pair that up with strong teamfight heroes, with the full confidence that they didn't need to worry about the other team sort of snagging a Rubik with their 3rd pick and counteracting their possible Magnus or their possible Enigma. So in a teamfight in a 5 vs 5 situation, I think we could easily see. A huge swing if they actually are able to chain together their 3 extremely strong ultimates.
No Fire is... Oh, and we are remaking.
Yep. Alright,
okay,
so...
I think he accidentally clicked leave game. Wow, this is like...
This is truly professional level Dota.
Absolutely. This is like next level lobby making right here.
All right, so why don't we talk about who do you think got the better of the drafting phase and why?
Oh, it's going straight to No Fire Wisp Bottom. That not even a question. No Fire Wisp Bottom has a stronger draft. I think the Silencer is going to give Phantom Lancer a serious run for his money for many reasons. One, when you're silenced as a Phantom Lancer, you are unable to escape at all. You don't
have your double.
Like, there are heroes that can escape because they have higher movement speed.
Right.
Phantom Lancer does not have higher movement speed.
Right.
You can't run very fast. So you are not able to escape at all. Never mind that his escape in the first place isn't very good, because dust is an item.
Sure.
right?
I mean, his escape isn't. It's not bad by any means, but it's not a blink.
Two.
It's not a charge or something. Yeah.
Two. The Glaives of Wisdom is pure damage, so the bonus magic resist that comes from the
his ultimate
Phantom Edge does not work. Right. To produce that damage. So that's a lot of damage that Phantom Lance can do. As well, Weaver, pretty decent against Phantom Lance, just because it's so hard to lock him down and actually get a kill on him.
Well, definitely, your Spirit Lance. I do think that if they run something like a Safe Lane Tri-Lane up against that Weaver, it's going to actually be pretty difficult for Ice to get those kills. Because the Spirit Lance won't really have an effect against the Weaver at all. So they're really relying to make sure that they absolutely land the disruption. They follow it up with a big ice path, and that ice path has to have a couple levels in it to actually lock that Weaver down for any reasonable length of time. So until Jakiro hits 3-5, I don't know that they'll really be able to. They really won't be able to lock down that Weaver and get those kills.
They think it's me. They think I'm the one not looking.
You're the scapegoat here.
They're scapegoating me. Oh man, but yeah, I'm still giving the draft to No Fire West Bottom. I think if they can play their cards right, if they can force these team fights, which is what they're looking for. You don't draft an Enigma, a Magnus, and a Silencer without looking at team fight. Right. You're talking
absolutely
about the best counter initiators in the game.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I think No Fire are going to be seeking to take fights, take them early, and just fight up in 5-5 situations. As soon as they really hit 6 on that Magnus, as soon as they hit 6 on that Enigma. So, what do you think the tasks? What do Ice have to do? What do they have to do to get the advantage?
What do Ice have to do to win? They got to look at getting that Phantom Lancer far fatter than he wants to be. Okay, round 4 on this loading thing.
Wowzers. All right, well, we'll hop back in here. All right, so I think for Ice, I agree with you. I think they need to protect the Phantom Lancer, get him up to his items, make sure that he survives, somehow make sure he survives in team fights, and try to pick off the Silencer. I think if they can keep the Silencer really, really underdeveloped, like, especially, those Glaives of Wisdom, if he never gets a particular large stack of int, the Glaives of Wisdom aren't actually going to be that much of a factor. So
absolutely.
I think their task... What's their tri-lane? It's Jakiro, Shadow Demon, Phantom Lancer?
Yeah, Jakiro, Shadow Demon, Phantom Lancer.
I think they might even, because of the difficulty of actually killing Weaver, and the fact that No Fire aren't running a traditional, very safe tri-lane, I think we might see Ice try to run something like an aggressive tri-lane and really push up into the face of that Silencer or Rubik very, very aggressively and try to pick him off early. Because Enigma, until he gets a couple levels, won't be able to provide them that much assistance from the jungle.
Absolutely, but Enigma's probably going to be taking the jungle, and that's going to be fine for No Fire West Bottom. They're actually going to be probably running a dual lane as a result.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you know if the lobby's back up yet?
We launched again.
Oh.
Oh, lobby issues for days.
Bleak.
Disconnect and reconnect if you haven't tried it yet.
I'm not in the lobby. Oh. Well, now I feel bad.
Disconnects for days. That's what we got. We're playing. No, you see, today's game. It's not a matter about who plays Dota better. It's about who connects first.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, round 5 on this lobby stuff. Let's try to get it working this time. Hopefully. All right. Are you in the lobby now?
Yeah,
you are in the lobby now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make this work. Round 5. Okay, but yeah, for Ice, they definitely got to get that Phantom Lancer farm. That's the only way they're able to win. They got to win the ultra late game. They got to be looking at 40, 50 minutes in, and then pushing to win. Because that's what it's going to take for Phantom Lancer to get his heart, get his Diffusive Blade, get his Manta Style, and start steamrolling over No Fire West Bottom.
Yeah. I think Ice, it's definitely a thin road that they have to walk in terms of they need that Phantom Lancer. They need to be able to get him developed. And it's kind of awkward because, of course, early in the draft, they had taken that Queen of Pain, And Queen of Pain, you know, into the 40-50 minute mark isn't nearly as relevant. But I think what they're going to look at is just using that early gank ability to hopefully dominate the lane against the Silencer and the Rubik. Give them some space to get that Phantom Lancer developed, and then sort of in the very early to mid game, I think they can play aggressively. But then once the Magnus hits 6, once the Enigma hits 6, they're going to have to play just very, very assiduously defensively. Make sure the Phantom Lancer gets farm, avoid fights, and especially avoid larger engagements.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is if they go into a larger engagement, they're going to lose. They don't have a single chance in hell to win a larger engagement. Yeah. You got a hero like Silencer, who is probably one of the top 3 counter initiators in the game, up there with Tidehunter.
Right.
Just because you initiate on him, you get global silence, the initiation comes back, and you're done. What are you going to do? Rubik is fantastic, can steal some good abilities. Nothing really of note on ice.
Yeah, I think this Rubik was like I said, it's really more of like a preemptive counter pick to you know, Ice trying to pick up the Rubik to try to go against this Magnus, Silencer, Enigma. Because obviously, Ice would love to have Rubik right now. That would be like the perfect situation for them.
Absolutely. Well, it's nothing really special, the Rubik pick. There's nothing really special to steal. Maybe the Sonic Wave. Yeah. The fact is, Rubik is still a very strong lane support, so he's going to be still very strong in that situation. We're actually seeing some weird lane movement here from No Fire Wisp Bottom. But we should probably introduce the players.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's take a look at Ice Gaming on the Radiant. I think they're from Paraguay, and they're one of the 2 teams in the Grand Finals. We've got Benjaz up on the Phantom Lancer, and then ZNDRZ, etc. on the Shadow Demon, and Monra with the Jakiro, doing their safe lane, tri-lane. Then we've got Daiko on the Darkseer, who looks to be going the solo hard lane up in the top, and then MTRX Mila as their mid playing Queen of Pain. Let's talk about the
for No Fire Wisp Bottom, we got... Okay, now it's Dong Dad 420. He's gonna change his name all day. On the Enigma, KVH taking the mag. God knows where they're laying this right now. It's really confusing. It's your boy on Rubik, and the guy who says stand-in Whitebeard Dota, that's not a stand-in. That's Whitebeard on the Silencer. And I just like to take this moment to say, why did you boot start? Why do you want to upset me?
Oh wow, yeah. So Silencer, it looks like they, yeah. So Boots, Tango, Clarity. This is an interesting gambit. I wonder if this wasn't in anticipation that they'd have to deal with the tri-lane going up against them, so he wanted a little bit more escapability, but it's kind of an iffy choice anyway. It's definitely a weird call to go for the Boots first. Absolutely.
We're seeing wards just being dropped everywhere right now to block the camps here. And the Weaver does find the double damage, so that's going to be a fantastic early laning we're in.
Oh yeah,
also,
it really does look like we're going to see fairly standard lanes from No Fire. So they are going to run the Magnus up in the middle, the Weaver as the solo lane, and then the tri-lane. Well, the dual lane with assist from Enigma in the jungle. So I think what we sort of thought they would do is actually what they're going to go up into.
Yeah, nothing really too extraordinary right now. Nothing really too special. The Silencer is playing this farming 1 role, which is not something that I saw coming. But it might work out. An early Orchid levels on the Silencer just to stack more silences. Fantastic item. One of the best items for Silencer in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the one thing, I do think it's interesting that Ice has decided to go for the traditional safe tri-line. I think they know that their path to victory involves making sure that the Phantom Lancer is safe and farming. So they decided not to go for sort of the more aggressive play of putting him up into an aggressive tri-line. They actually are just going to play safe with the Shadow Demon and the Jakiro and Phantom Lancer. The flip side of this is I doubt it's going to be tough for them to actually get a kill on this Weaver. He's already level 2. He has his escapability in the form of Shuki, and I don't know. It does look like the Shadow Demon is looking for it, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to actually land it.
Shadow Demon does have Sentry, so this could be
a Sentry, so the Ice Path is going to go off, and they're going to follow it up with the Spirit Lance. But again, it's just not really nearly enough damage to actually... Well, it just got it at 70, but it's still not enough. He's just going to heal this back up and go back in.
Yeah, it's going to be really expensive for Weaver to stay in lane. He's probably not going to stick around too long. Probably looking just to get a couple of levels and start roaming. Honestly, it's kind of underestimated, Weaver as a ganker. With an early Courage Medallion, he can actually be really strong in a gank.
Oh yeah, with Medallion he could do a very, very, very high amount of damage. Magnus just picking up the rune, getting some early rune control. We see that early bottle. This is extremely typical for you mid-Magnus, especially if you're going up against something like a Queen of Pain. It's very tough for you to actually stay in lane if you don't have that bottle and you're unable to either regularly get runes or have it bottle ferried.
Absolutely. He is losing this lane quite substantially, though, almost a full level behind. Yep. And
only sitting at about 3 last hits to the 9 of Queen Pin, and Queen Pin also picking up 16. So good play from Mila here. He's trying to zone out KVH. He's doing a good job of, you know, getting that area control. He has the 1 rank in Shadow Strike. We might see a 2nd rank in it sooner or later.
Honestly, I think people underestimate the damage of the Shadow Strike. Shadow Strike at level 1 does 200 damage.
Right.
It's a dot. That's still 200 damage.
Yep. And actually, the aggressive warding that No Fire did is really paying off for this Weaver, because right now he's able to stay more or less under his tower and get quite a bit of XP off this. In addition to even doing a little bit of harassment damage, you can see that the counter wards, the one counter ward that Ice placed actually wasn't enough to catch either of the wards that No Fire had placed, so that was completely wasted. And they have the one ward here down spotting for Weaver.
Yeah, and that ward is too far back right now. It's not going to really help him out. When we're completely fine in the spot lane, he's not.
We should probably just. It's gonna be tough if we keep calling him Windrunner, just because it's the name of a different hero. No Fire being very cheeky with their player names in this game.
You know what? Before the game started, you should have seen the names that they were going through. It's pretty funny.
I don't actually recommend that. I'm glad that our viewers weren't actually subjected to that.
Yeah, the chat log was pretty bad as well.
Yeah. They have finally found, so Shadow Demon got another set of counter wards, and they have finally located this ward. So this will fix this laning situation just a little bit. And the Phantom Lancer, he is farming pretty well so far. He has his 20 last hits.
20 and 6, that's not bad. He missed like 4, 5 last hits at this point. Not that bad, honestly. So he's still like keeping up pretty well. Nick, obviously, biggest last hitter, but that's because he's jungling. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, each of those last hits is worth a little. I mean, it's worth a little less. He is up to his soul ring, so I think Nick was doing absolutely fine. Definitely we'd expect of him at this point.
We're just seeing that Daiko is just pushing up this top lane, though, with the Ion Shells. Okay, now this is a bad build coming out of Whitebeard. If we look at Whitebeard's skill build, he does opt to max out the Glaives of Wisdom first.
Well, he is going the #1, so, and I think they know, definitely with this dual lane, until this Enigma hits something like 5, they have almost no shot of killing Darkseer in any meaningful way. So I think he didn't want to go the primary just damage approach. He just wants to get maximum last hit capability. You know, if he's going to be the #1, he wants to get to that carry point as quickly as possible.
I think it's more important for him to keep the Darkseer off the lane, though. Darkseer just as much can be a big deal, but we're seeing Itzy for him, so I guess it's fine. But it does help him last hit quite a bit. It does give him quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. Silencer's base without the glaives is actually nothing. It's nothing to write home about. So I think he's just trying to ensure that he is able to, since they are putting sort of their top farming position for him, that he's able to get that farm quickly. And he has parity or better with Phantom Lancer. So.
Oh, that's
Weaver,
not...
meanwhile, in a lot of trouble bottom. Actually, they're trying to be chased down. They do have another Sentry Ward.
He's got to just deny himself to creep right now. He's got to just move into neutrals.
I think he might actually be okay. So he doesn't have the TP, but it depends actually what route he takes back. He could get himself. He is going to deny himself on creeps, so he does decide to just go back, get the TP, and come back into the lane. So pretty smartly played from him. It gives no benefit whatsoever to Ice. So even though you see the 1-0 on the scoreboard, it's not a first blood bonus or anything.
Doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Like yeah, he just needs to deny himself because there's no way that he was really going to get out of that alive with the sentry coverage.
Yeah, I think he actually had a shot to leave. But it's actually more efficient for him, yeah.
If Queen of Pain decided to rotate in, he would have been dead.
Right.
That would have been First Blood. Yeah. And it's actually quicker just to die.
Exactly. That's what I was going to mention, is that it's probably just quicker for him to just die and come back via his new TP than it would be for him to walk all the way back home, get regen, and then come back.
Basically next level Life Sealer jungling, if you've ever seen that.
Yep. A little bit of roaming coming out from Ice, so they've smoked up the Jakiro and the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is actually still sitting on level 1, so this is a very, very underdeveloped. Even playing #5, he has no items and he's level 1, so kind of a rough position for Shadow Demon to be in.
Not that big of a deal for Shadow Demon in this game. There's no really reason that you need the level 6, because there's nothing that you're really going to need to slow.
Yeah, I mean, Disruption's not going to be that useful, but definitely like a few ranks of Soul Catcher would not be. It's never bad. It's
absolutely.
For him.
But he is going up to this top lane, and they're going to avoid the wards.
They add the Jakiro on, so we do have a level 4 Jakiro, 2 ranks up in the Dual Breath and the Nice Path, and then the 1 Shadow Demon, and it looks like they're going to do exactly what we said. So we said that one task for Ice was to make sure they try to get the advantage in this lane top, and so that's what they're going to do. But unfortunately, the lane is actually very, very pushed up right now. They would have to dive quite a bit to actually try to get Whitebeard on the Silencer.
It's also being impossible to kill him right now. He has the level 7. That's Global Silence.
Right. Yeah, they'll be very, very difficult. They could actually, if they landed a disruption, he does actually pop the global silence, so that's being thrown out already. But nobody rotating quite yet. It looks like Enigma's going to come over here. Darkseid taking quite a bit of damage. Excellent defensive ice path here, manages to save them for a bit, but Munra's going to cop a lot of damage in addition to the Malphus. And looks like that will be first blood for Silencer, getting quite a bit of extra gold and experience. Very, very useful for them there. They not only deflect the gank attempt, but also pick up the first blood on the back of it.
Well, like I said, that was not going to happen. They were not going to get a kill on level 7 Silencer. Not with a team lineup like what they have. They're too dependent on their spells to do that.
Yeah. I think they mostly just waited too long. In theory, if the Silencer was out, if he wasn't so safe under the tower, they could do something like land a disruption and then put down the ice path so that it stuns him. Like put down the ice path while he's in the disruption so that it stuns him before he can pop global silence. But even then, the tightness of that, what they would have had to do for that would have been very, very tight.
Yeah, it's just you'd have to be not only super coordinated but super lucky, hoping that Whitebeard just for a moment wasn't looking at his surroundings instead of his character.
It looks like NoFire are going to turn it right around and attempt to gank on the Phantom Lancer. So after the supports rotate out, we have KVH coming in with the invisibility rune. I don't think Phantom Lancer knows about this, and he has with Risk Polarity. He pops it right now, and they're going to try to get him with this additional damage. He is doppelwalked, and there's no detection. So Phantom Lancer escapes with 20 HP. Weaver trying to sort of blindly shooky him down, but it doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, I was about to say, this gank's not going to happen unless they have dust. Yeah,
but it came close even then. Like
it was really close. Don't get me wrong. Not going to happen without detection. It's just that hard to kill the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, what completely saved him, level 6. He remembered to skill Phantom Edge. Doesn't even matter if you don't have a point and you're juxtaposed. Oh, poor Weaver.
Wow, Weaver in a lot of trouble here. He does have to deal with it, but he manages to walk away from it without too much issue, actually. No Spirit Lance being thrown out there, so I guess they didn't feel quite confident enough to actually bring him down to waste the
Phantom Lance. He's on really low mana, can't really afford to spend it. He is sitting on 1,800 gold, though, so we could be seeing a Soul Ring pickup, or if he wants to, instead just kind of rush in the Diffusal. And
I think most likely we're going to see him just rush for that Diffusal.
I really hope he doesn't build Radiance.
Oh wow, he could. I mean, it's kind of questionable. We don't see it too frequently.
There's a reason why you don't see it anymore. It's because games don't tend to last 70 minutes anymore.
Right. So it's the most greedy approach you can have. It will get you a ton of farm over a long period of time, but it prevents you from being relevant for really the entire time until you get maybe 2 more items on top of the Radiance.
Absolutely.
And they're really. NoFire doesn't really fear Radiance that much. Their only tremendously low survivability hero is that Rubik, so I really don't think Radiance would be that strong.
Honestly, not only that, but Rubik has his null field. That's going to reduce the damage of the Radiance even more, so that just kills the impact of it.
Yeah, I still don't think he will go for the Radiance, but certainly he is banking a lot of gold. He could have been well on the way to a Diffusal, so that's something we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on.
Enigma's level 7, so that's not good for Ice. And there's a smoke gank. They're looking to make a move onto
so
Mila.
We got Rubik and Enigma coming into the middle. Mila it doesn't look like Queen of Pain knows about it. We do have a pause coming out, so there might be some sort of lag issue. Both teams are getting some development, but I do think NoFire have something of an advantage right now. Their Weaver has more or less parity with the Darkseer, I would say. They definitely lost mid, so Magnus is nowhere near the amount of development that Queen of Pain has. So Queen of Pain, she has her power treads. I think she just bought something up. What is actually being delivered to her? So she's starting on her Aghanim Scepter. It looks like she's got this Ogre Club coming in. And then the Magnus, meanwhile, is still working on most likely either Arcane Boots or is going to try to get an early Blink. But he's definitely way, way, way far away from that still.
I'm going to say that's a questionable item choice. I don't think picking up an early Ags is going to be a real game breaker here. Sure. It's possible that they're going for it just so they can try to, win some early engagements by just quickly bursting down.
Yeah.
Like the Silencer or the Mag, but I think it's... Oh, and there it goes.
Actually being very, very aggressive. She jumps in, but this might have cost her extremely. She didn't realize that the Enigma was right there, and they take advantage of it. They managed to flip it right on its head. He thought that he could get in there and throw out a quick Sonic Wave and kill that Magnus, but he pays for it extremely dearly with them turning it around, popping the reverse polarity, and that'll be great for that Magnus. He's actually up to about 1,000 gold off of that. And actually a kill on the top as well. Silencer managing to pick off. That's strange. I wasn't quite watching that, but Silencer getting a pretty easy kill, it looks like, on Darkseer.
The last word ticked as he was running away and ended up going down. I was going to say, and I say this every time I see a Queen of Pain picked up, Queen of Pain's biggest weakness is the cooldown on her Blink, by far. Like it might only be 1 second longer than anti-mage's blink, which doesn't seem like that much, but in a realistic situation, that 1 second can mean the difference between life and death.
Sure, especially before you rank it. Like if you haven't ranked that, if you don't have that many ranks in it, it's a very, very long cooldown, especially at its earlier stages.
But the biggest part about it is that with Queen of Pain, she needs it to get close because all of her abilities have very short range. So that basically means you either use it to initiate, or use it to escape.
But you can't.
You can't use it for both. You can't. You won't have the time to use it for both. You'll be taking a dive.
Yeah, I think once you're actually, there is a very high level of commitment to co-op. If you're jumping in with that blink, I mean, you're staying in. You're essentially that fight is going to happen. Global Silence actually popped as they try to pick up the Queen of Pain again. So just as we noted, they actually pop a black hole for this. Queen of Pain taking a lot of damage. He will not be able to escape from this. Excellent coordination from No Fire again. They do use 2 ultimates, but using the black hole and the Global Silence in conjunction picks them up yet another kill. And so Queen of Pain being effectively neutered in the middle now. All she has is her Ogre Club on the way to Ags, but she's made absolutely no progress since then. And it frees up a lot of space for the Magnus. He picks up his level 9. He picks up his Arcane Boots. Meanwhile, they do trade off with pickup on the Weaver. They did rotate the Jakiro and the Shadow Demon all the way back down. Shadow Demon getting up to level 4 now. We do see him actually choosing to level up the Shadow Poison. So just that additional little edge of the attempt to sort of get greater parity in these engagements. So Shadow Poison, an ability that is sort of the least regarded among what Shadow Demon has in his toolkit. And they get to pick off on Darkseer again in the top lane. So No Fire opening up an advantage, and I do have to note, this Silencer has gotten a huge advantage over Phantom Lancer as well. He's now at about, what, 25 more last hits? What's the net worth look like? He's K and a half.
Yeah, he's looking a lot better. Finished up his Force Staff. Force Staff was good for Silencer before the changes. Even after the nerfs, it's even better for Silencer. One of Silencer's biggest issues was staying power. And the fact that it now builds him a Ring of Regen, even better for Silencers. And this is why Silencers, and even old carry Silencers, would build Mechanism.
Right. Because
it's one of the best tank items for ranged heroes.
Yeah, and the sustainability that it gives you. A quick Dust thrown on. They're actually going to use Reverse Polarity again with Detection this time. This will be the death of the Phantom Lancer. So No Fire getting yet another advantage. They're using their ultimates intelligently. They're not just saving them for... They know that Ice aren't going to seek big group engagements, so they're not saving their ultimates. They're just saving their ultimates to take down the core heroes of Ice. Ice is going to try to flip this around. They do get the Soul Catcher and the stuns, and that'll actually be the death of Silencer. They're using a lot of resources there, but it's exactly what they needed.
Absolutely. Silencer needs to be shut down right now. Ice needs to do that to keep themselves in the game. What we're seeing is that just because they know what they've been using is that they've decided, No Fire was bottom, that it's more important to win fights and get kills than to win a extraordinary fight. Just win what you can.
Yep, absolutely. They are chasing Shadow Demon, so Rubik waiting on his telekinesis cooldown in about 2 seconds. They will not be able to catch Shadow Demon. Decent defensive Ice Path, doesn't actually catch either of them, but it does manage to dissuade No Fire from chasing that any further. So continuing to try to get ganks, they almost got the Queen of Pain actually as well, but she did manage to escape. The silence expired and she blinked away.
We're seeing that Benhaz is having issues, but he does pick up that 14-minute Diffusal, and that's going to be very big. It's going to let him do a little bit more damage in lane. He actually hits almost as hard as the Silencer does right now. A little bit less, actually. 2 damage less. And it's only because Silencer managed to get those steals, but look at Silencer.
The Purge gives you an additional little bit of damage on the Diffusal. And actually, Whitebeard rotating down, they pop the Global Silence to make sure that this Phantom Lancer can escape, but it looks like they might not catch him in the trees. So they use the Global Silence, don't get quite enough from it. And Ice might try to turn this around. They've rotated quite a bit down, but it looks like Whitebeard's going to walk away, and with the Force Staff, he manages to get out, no problem.
Yeah, it just looked like they didn't they wanted to commit to it, but they didn't end up doing enough damage.
Yep.
So
you see that casual vitality booster on Weaver. Frequently, there's different approaches, but often we just see the sort of the. Oh, sorry, actually, they did pop. Did they pop anything? The good rotation from Silencer managing to add on to this Magnus and Enigma gank on Queen of Pain. And this Queen of Pain is becoming an enormous liability, like we sort of mentioned before. It's a really early game focused a hero that tries to get a huge advantage in the early to mid game, but as soon as we see these level 6s, it's extremely difficult for that Queen of Pain to actually get in there and do anything to a pack of 2 or 3 heroes on No Fire. So now we just see her basically feeding. She's 0-3-0 now. That's not where you want your Queen of Pain to be at 16 minutes.
I think the big problem for Queen of Pain against No Fire's lineup, and this is just the beauty of what No Fire drafted, there is so much permanent lockdown that they have that works against heroes like Queen of Pain. She can't get anything done. She can blink in and then get stunned. She can blink in and then get telekinesis. She can blink in and get silenced. You name it. She can't do anything. And that's basically just giving Silencer in. He's up to 10 int now. And with that ultimate orb, he is incredibly farmed. Looking at already picking up an early Scythe, and a Scythe this early is going to be devastating to Ice. They're not going to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. Oh, I want to make a quick note. Are you on? Do you have your open mic on for casting? Actually, they are going to throw out a lot of all the crowd control once again getting thrown on the Queen of Pain. So No Fire again, making sure that Queen of Pain has no effect on the game, and it's going extremely well for them. Make sure that your open mic is on for Dota TV.
It's been on because I was casting earlier out streaming. Yeah, because my internet connection's not very good. When I do casting for some other folks, they have a guy who does some restreaming, but Whitebeard's so dead.
Yeah, almost certainly. So this core tri-lane of ganking, not tri-lane, but this core three ganker team is actually going very well for them. They have managed to pick up the Silencer twice with it, and that's critical because honestly, he's so far on the way to his Scythe of Vice already. He's about 2/3 of the way there, just in terms of imputed money. So they need to make sure that the Silencer doesn't get any farther ahead than he already is. The kills that he's participated in already has given him quite a bit of intellect gain, and he's substantially ahead of where the Phantom Lancer is.
Absolutely, he's looking 2,000 gold up, and that's a big deal. But Windrunner taking lots of damage on this bot lane.
Yeah, the Weaver named Windrunner is.
We're gonna see how many times confuse you guys.
Right.
I don't know what.
Up Manta style?
Probably Manta style.
Yeah. Just casual vitality booster and then going into the Manta.
Honestly, not a bad idea. Casual Vite Booster is always helpful.
Yeah,
he's probably going to turn that into a Heart later.
Yeah, at some point. Or the high-quality Weaver item, Rod of Value 2000.
Yeah. Aoi might have a serious thing for those Rod of Atoses, but personally, I think they're pretty cost-ineffective.
I mean, it's okay. It has its advantages. I don't know that it's a great Weaver item, especially. They are going to attempt to... The Shadow Demon doesn't quite manage. The cast point was just a little too long, and he didn't manage to get the disruption off on the Weaver. So Weaver walks away from that fairly safely. It looks like they may attempt to push out this lane, so Ice are going to try to get a little bit more tower parity. They are one tower down. You see the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 top for Ice is down, whereas only the tier 1 mid for No Fire. So they may try to get a little more space, a little more map control. Queen of Pain already jumping in, doing a little bit of damage to Weaver here. And they're just going to continue harassing him while attempting to push in. Do they realize... They do know.
Yes, they know they just caught him with the Shadow Poison.
Yep. So throwing out that...
KVH has Blink Dagger as well, so that's pretty much his presence alone is going to keep Ice off this tower.
Yeah, but Queen of Pain actually playing very boldly. He could have jumped in there. He's waiting for the rest of his team. The rest of No Fire actually rotating over here. This could be very, very consequential.
It doesn't look like Besides really gonna make a play here.
Yeah. It looks like Ice are just going to back off, which is probably smart. They actually rotate. The Darkseer's still pushing in top a bit. It looks like he might actually get the kill while No Fire roll down here handling this.
Yeah, it looks like no one. Oh, there's
still playing very unsafe. I'm really scared for Quap in this situation. Actually, she does blink away, so she's okay. But they do manage to pick up, it looks like a tower trade, so tier 1 top for Ice and tier 1 bottom for No Fire. But No Fire committed a lot more resources to this, actually, so that's a little bit of time that Ice bought themselves there.
Absolutely. I think at this point, No Fire can just literally man up, go 5-man Dota, and just win the game. I don't think Ice has the power to really contest a big 5-man push coming out of No Fire at this point in the game.
Right. I think it's difficult, and I think Ice are going to try to avoid a fight until the absolute last possible moment. If they can get something like a pick-off just before a fight starts, like if they can take that Silencer down and cause them to use this global silence in an inauspicious time, that's about the only chance that they have of actually winning a group engagement.
Yeah, this pot tower is going down as well,
absolutely,
though.
Yeah.
Weaver hits really hard with the Empower Up. It makes him hit for over 100 damage, and with the Gemini attack,
right?
Which actually
because it doubles up his attack, it's going to It makes the Empower worth more than you'd normally expect on a ranged hero.
One of 2 orbs that Weaver works with. Yeah. Oh man, but like that's a pretty interesting. Why is Windrunner trying to Roche?
Huh. So it looks like they are going to... It looks like No Fire is going to start a Roche attempt. Weaver cannot sell a Roche on. This is a bit of an ignominious beginning there. And they are going to plink away at this slowly. Now, Ice don't have vision of this, so I don't know that they know. It is going to take them a little while. They don't have any form of armor reduction to actually get this Roshan down quicker. So this is a gambit, but if Ice don't actually respond quickly and move in here, that's probably going to go down for free, essentially.
Actually, I think Silencer is enough for Scythe of Ice right now. So as soon as this Roche goes down, he's going to be picking
Roche, he'll probably pick off Aegis and finish his Scythe right at the...
And yeah, they're going to be looking for a 5-man push after that.
Absolutely.
And the problem is Ice is either going to have to fight or get out of the way.
Right.
And neither one of them is really good for them.
Very appealing option, yeah. Especially now that they're down to 2 towers. Their map control is really being contested. You can see this pretty aggressive warding coming out from No Fire here. They have a very good amount of vision in this sort of region, especially if Ice try to farm up those Ancients. No Fire are going to be able to just jump on them immediately. And keep in mind, their Enigma and their Magnus both have Blink Daggers, so their repositioning ability and ability to actually start a fight is just vastly above where Ice is as well.
Absolutely. The big thing is if the reverse polarity is good, the black hole is going to be good.
Right. Absolutely.
And
all they have to land is one to ensure that the other one is going to be essentially perfect.
Combined, that's a 7-second disable, and that's going to win them the game, period. And if they do manage to live through 7 seconds of unreactivity, 5 seconds of silence on top of that, it's going to pretty much neuter the rest of Ice's lineup.
Absolutely, because Ice really do have a primary... Until that Phantom Lancer gets extremely big, they don't have much in the way of right-click. I mean, like, what are you going to rely on? Queen of Pain, who is... I think he's probably going to go sideways into a BKB, so he's not going to finish that Aghanim. He's going to just make a BKB.
He'd have to right now. They see the Scythe of Ice. I hope they see the Scythe of Ice on No Fire.
Right.
Because if they don't, oh, they're going to be feeding. They're going to be feeding a lot.
Yeah, that's even more lockdown, especially at the beginning of a fight. It's just going to be so effective for No Fire. Now, we have to note, Phantom Lancer is getting some farm. If he manages to pick off this Tier 2 tower by himself, that'll be most of his heart right there. But unfortunately, they're on a clock as well. I mean, they just lost Tier 2 middle, which is they only have one outer tower remaining. Phantom Lancer's going to have to hightail it out of here, because there's quite a bit of... Uh-oh. Wow! Okay, he does actually... Enigma gets the Malefice off, and they do both the Black Hole and the Reverse Polarity. They do pick off Phantom Lancer, spending a lot of resources to do so. I actually thought that maybe the Midnight Pulse would make sure that the Phantom Lancer did escape, which is why I sort of went, oh no, but they had just enough time to pop the Malefice and actually stun him down the last instant of his teleport.
Yeah, I'm sure Benha is not happy about that at all.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you had to. If you were him, you had to have thought you got away. Like when you saw. The
I would be furious. It's like it's like when you're trying to kill something, right?
And Kira is popping right there. Queen of Pain, they thought that they'd get a kill because Queen of Pain is sitting here in the wings with invisibility, but instead Jakira just dies immediately. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just looking at Jakira's stats. If you look at it, he has no minus stats. So unless it's literally decreased from his base, yeah, Silencer doesn't actually steal in.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it actually changed when they did the big Silencer patch.
Yeah, but they popped a lot of ultis. That was a little bit of miscommunication. They ended up stacking the Black Hole duration.
Yeah, the Black Hole and the they did it at the exact same point. They definitely only needed one of them, I feel like, but because they had Dust too. Like he wasn't going anywhere. He certainly wasn't TPing out. How much gold did he lose from that? That's
awesome. Rubik got rich.
Yeah, Rubik getting up to his Blink Dagger. So actually, even more initiation ability. That Blink Telekinesis is deceptively strong. Like that could be huge.
Blink Telekinesis.
They do skewer back the Shadow Demon, and that's yet another dead support that raises up to 12-4 in favor of No Fire. And their ability to initiate is just so far ahead right now. A stun on Silencer, he is caught out of position, but keep in mind he has Aegis, and he looks like he's building Shiva's next. And he just does an incredible amount of damage at this point, taking down Jakiro. Actually, so let's take a look at Jakiro now. Yeah, he did lose too. It's off his base.
Wow, that's really confusing. See, I wouldn't notice that just because I always look off look at the modifiers. Right. That's why I think they would be.
Yeah. It looks like, it actually takes off. It's off your base.
Oh, poor Jakiro.
Yeah. And that's tough for us. I mean,
that's
losing
really bad
as a spellcasting base support, it's really rough. Like,
it's not only that, but 4 of them are Intiros.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The wall.
I mean, even just the global silence is just going to be backbreaking in the fight. It's going to. Oh, they do pop the silence. The coordination isn't perfect, but it's enough to get many kills. Triple kill for Windrunner and a couple buybacks coming out from Ice. They know that this is their last stand. They absolutely have to make something happen here. All the ultimates are down, but Darkseer is just taking too much damage. At this point, I'm not sure they can handle Silencer. They do take down the Magnus, but that's their only death at this point. Silencer getting yet another kill, continuing to amass more and more int. He's at 153 int already. It's just an astonishing amount for this early
It's
in
an
the game.
absurd amount. He has the Aegis, too. He doesn't even care if he drops right here.
Right. Yeah, I actually forgot about it for a moment. He will drop from a Spirit Link, from an Errant Spirit Link. But it hardly matters at this point. NoFire just completely knocking this down. This #1 silencer did manage to get more than enough farm to become effective.
Absolutely. It just comes down to once silencer gets rolling, it's like a Pudge, right? Once Pudge gets like 10, 15 stacks of flesh, he's unkillable. Right? Once silencer gets 10, 15 stacks of his Glaives of Wisdom, he will melt you.
Yep, absolutely. So they do actually, Ice do manage to fend off NoFire for now. They take the Aegis down, they manage to pick off the Magnus, and of course NoFire is now out of ultimates effectively, so they can't quite push in. But that was a huge win for them anyway. I mean, they forced out buybacks from Shadow Demon, which is not tremendously consequential, but Phantom Lancer, that's huge. The fact that he had to buy back takes him even farther away from whatever he's building, whether it be... it's not clear whether he's actually going to try to finish out the Banter or finish out the Heart first, but either way, he's quite a bit farther away from it now that he was forced to use so much money to buy back.
Absolutely. What we are seeing is that Mag is working towards his Refresher Orb, and if he gets that Refresher Orb, it's not going to look good.
He's well on the way already. He's got his Oblivion stat plus 2,000. That's about 2/3 or more.
Yeah, he just needs about another 1,500 gold to finish off his Refresher Orb. And the problem is, like, if we look at NoFire Wisp-Bottom's team, they can all build Refresher Orbs if they really want to.
It certainly could. It's not tremendously likely that we'll see Weaver actually go for the Refresher Orb, but a couple of their other heroes could certainly do it.
Like, Rubik that steals a builds a Refresher Orb, and he's never gonna get the gold for it. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
But if he stole it, like, that's like 2 Ice Paths, or 2 Walls, and what have you.
Or 2 Quapults, for that matter.
Yeah, lots of things he can steal. And the best part is, if he does, like, chains his steals together, he can actually cast, like, two different spells twice.
Right.
So...
Silencer getting started already, so excellent jump in there. He manages to Sheep and Shivas, and that's enough to take down the Shadow Demon right from the beginning. They do actually, this might have been a slightly overextension. He's forced to pop his Global Silence, but an excellent Black Hole. The Silencer does manage to stay alive. He avoids the Queen of Pain ultimate. A couple more heroes go down. Rubik, we lose Enigma, but yet more people dying. The Darkseer is gone. Does he have buyback? He actually does. The Magnus throwing out his First Polarity. It's enough to take down... Actually, Queen of Pain's still standing, so NoFire... a little over-enthusiastic there. Jumping in with the Silencer, throwing out the Force Staff and Shivas was enough to get a kill, but it caused them to start the fight when they weren't quite ready to do so.
Absolutely. They actually kind of threw that fight. They definitely kind of moved in a little bit too early, and the problem was they also started walking through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Silencer illusion was doing work there just by itself. Even though it doesn't obviously use its glaives, it does pretty good damage at this point anyway. Just because Silencer is an int hero and is, you know, close to 200 int at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, like, crit picked up or something silly like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it'll be interesting to see what he makes next. He definitely doesn't need to stack any more in. Like, it's not necessary. He does actually take Vitality. Yeah, it's going to be Rod of Value 2000, so always happy to see that Rod of Atos.
Yeah, it's going to be a Rod of Atos.
As well as it's even more disable for them.
You know, I said it wasn't cost-effective. It's very cost-effective, actually. You get a lot of stats out of what you put into it.
You do get good stats, yeah.
I just think the Cripple isn't a very good active.
Yeah. And then,
you know,
the Cripple, yeah.
The Cripple just doesn't seem very... It's not a very appealing active to me, where movement speed will rarely make or break a fight.
Right. I mean, the Cripple is good, honestly. I'm not sure that NoFire actually need it, just because they already have so... Like, he can already Force Staff Shivas. Like, does he really need another slow? It almost seems like it's...
I think the problem is that, like, who do you slow that's going to make a difference?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if Darkseer's there, your slow didn't do anything.
Right.
And if it's anyone else, they would have just died in 3 hits anyways.
Exactly, yeah. It's almost overkill, I think, in some ways. I almost think it like incentivizes the wrong behavior, because they lost the last fight because he jumped in and tried to gank somebody too early. And with Rod of Atos, he's going to feel even better about jumping in and ganking somebody. Honestly,
I hope he turns this into a heart instead. Because Silencer definitely wants to tank.
Yeah. I mean, one of the problems in that last fight was that they did take so much damage on the Silencer that he had to sort of just pop his ultimate before they really wanted to do it, and he had to sit back, I think, more than he would have.
They're looking at another Roche right now.
Yep, it looks like No Fire are just going to wait out the remaining about 30 seconds necessary for the Roshan to spawn, and they're going to try to take that, put it on Silencer again, and just go immediately to get those top Raxes. Now, it has to be noted, Queen of Pain has been doing a pretty good job of playing defensively since those early... She got fucked really, really, really hard early on in this game, so it's been good that she sort of hunkered down, not gone for stupid kills, and is building up her items. So, Black King Bar, it looks like Orchid is going to be next. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to say probably Orchid. And Orchid's going to be really good at keeping the Silencer down.
Absolutely.
Just because he has
They're going to be hoping to Orchid one of the big teamfight heroes and kill them before they can chain together their ultimates.
The problem is, even if you silence one, there's two others.
Yeah.
it's like fighting. It's like trying to kill ants. Like, you can kill one. But then
so we are going to big vacuum and a good wall right inside of the Roshan pit, but a good force staff to take him right back out of there. And the global silence popped, I think, earlier than No Fire were looking to go, but they take down Darkseer very, very early. Rubik is taken down. Queen of Pain running around. She does have her BKB for about 4 more seconds. But this is going to expire, and they are still waiting on some of these ultimates. The Risk Polarity gets thrown out and a big skewer off the back of it. That's very, very big for them. And the Black Hole to follow up. But Phantom Lancer is not actually in it yet. Queen of Pain jumping in. That's very, very bold. The PL doing work, but he's getting taken down by the Silencer. A Rampage.
You can't tell, but I'm doing the touchdown hand right now. That's what I do every time I see a Rampage.
It's
Silencer, Rampage. This one rule... Merlady said it on his stream the other day, and I have like a 90% win ratio with the Silencer. I don't think it's because I'm good at Silencer. I think it's just because he's broken. This is probably just the prime example of that.
But definitely the damage that they threw out with that Silencer. Ice actually managed to get semi-favorable positions for their ultimates. Like, the Global Silence came out earlier than I think No Fire wanted to throw it out. Even the Reverse Polarity was maybe not... It only got 2, but just so much damage at this point with this Silencer, well over 200 int. Those glaives that he's throwing out are doing just an incredible amount of work for him. And so in the end, that PL, he's got decent farm, but he wasn't even able to close to stand up to the amount of damage that the Silencer was dishing out. But let's not... I think we can't overstate, that fight could have turned out just a little bit differently. If they had managed to take down that Silencer a little more quickly, a lot of their heroes were very, very low by the end of that Black Hole.
Absolutely. It could have been a very close fight. But like I was saying, that's really the advantage of Silencer. Hard to initiate on him. You start initiating, he pops that global silence, and what are you going to do?
Right. Your entire initiation plan, especially if you're a team like Ice with the amount of the amount of disables they're relying on, the amount of damage that they're relying on.
Silencer does not build the Rod of Aoi. He builds that Vitality booster into a heart, which is significantly better, just because that's going to be like an extra 900 health total.
Oh yeah, it'll give him so much survivability. I think definitely the Atos would have been overly sort of greedy slash, I don't know.
I don't know. The cripple seems kind of excessive and unnecessary for this particular matchup.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think with the amount of disable that they're already packing and the amount of blink and repositioning that they have, it would be silly. But yeah, he's actually almost at the heart. I think they're going to probably look to finish up that heart and just immediately go to Rax from there.
I'd like to point out that Silencer currently hits creeps for over 400 damage.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's really bad. Veil of Discord, that's his next item. That's calling it now.
Who's? Oh, you think Silencer?
Just for the funnies.
It'll help. Those big AoE spells have good damage too. Like Reverse Polarity does really respect.
It's not even for the AoE spells. It's gonna boost the damage of his glaives.
Oh yeah, no. I understand.
Oh, next level play right here. That's what we got to see. But yeah, no, Silencer is not going to be dying. He has 3,000 health almost.
He's very, very tanky, yeah.
It's going to be very hard.
I don't know. It's almost impossible. They definitely need to make sure, they need hard on PL to even vaguely approach. Like, if you look at PL, he's only got about 1350 in the way of HP. Now, he does have some passive magic resistance, but...
Resistance doesn't do anything against...
Yeah, I mean, the pure damage that the glaives are getting thrown out, first of all, is not going to get reduced by that. They definitely are going to build heart, I think. It would be folly to go for the Manta first at this point, I believe.
Absolutely. I think the other big problem is that even with his 22 base armor, Silencer has more. He has 26. So if it was just a straight man mode brawl fight... Yeah, just because of the Shivas. If it was a straight man mode brawl fight, Silencer's going to win.
Right.
At this point in the game. Just because he has that 8,000 gold lead, and that manifests in a heart and a Shivas and a Sheepstick. And never mind... This is without the Aegis. The Aegis isn't even considered in this.
Right, it doesn't,
And this is a foreboding sign of what is to come. Look at Silencer's gold.
I didn't say that he has 666. That's good, though.
Yes. because Whitebeard is in fact the devil.
Getting some shout outs in.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, if you're Ice, I think you're definitely feeling the pinch a little bit. Like they know that the silencer is enormous. They know that they can't really deal with them in a sustained engagement. So it's going to be tough for them, but I think they just have to keep on going. They have to keep playing extremely defensively, try to avoid getting racks. That's really all they have to do. They don't have to win fights anywhere except on their racks, essentially. And
yeah, but the only problem is when
actually,
you're playing.
Phantom Lancer, what the hell is going? He is going the Radiance after all, I guess.
Oh,
that's a weird choice.
Oh.
It does give him damage, so it is going to give him quite a bit of damage off that Sacred Relic.
Oh, my heart is breaking.
But how does he expect to survive these fights?
This Radiance is won way too late. Not even considering the fact that Rubik is level 13,
right.
So he has 3 points in his null field. He's not going to do anything with that. The Radiance isn't going to do anything.
It's definitely not for team fights, right? He's going to, I guess, try to split push with it and generate so much lane pushing pressure that No Fire are forced to play a little more defensively than maybe they'd like. But it's so risky, and the upside potential is, I feel, not that high.
The problem is you're not going to...
Right.
No health means even Magnus can just run up and just cleave
blow
everything.
Up your illusions, yeah. I mean, his illusions really aren't that beefy right now. This is... I think they're in sort of... they understand that they're in dire straits, right? Like, they know that they have to sort of take weird chances, so I guess this is what they're actually going to go for. But I'm not sure he'll even get the Radiance in time to avoid what's going to happen in their top lane. Queen of Pain just getting completely taken down. This was just a solo fight there. Queen of Pain forced to buy back just off of an unsuccessful 1v1 situation.
I think the problem is if
Barely
Queen of Pain gets caught in a 1v1, he's going to get the last word, and then he's going to get sheeped, and then he's going to get silenced again.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Silencer at this point, with the sheep stick, can ensure that you take that full disarm and silence just by virtue of, crowd controlling you for that entire time.
Silencer, by the way, has reached so many levels that he has to... the only thing he can physically skill up now is the curse.
That's true. He's been backed into taking the.
But I'd like to count his agility, his intelligence.
I don't even want to look at it anymore. It's too depressing.
222 is the name of the game.
Horrifying. It's a horrifying amount of intelligence. Now, Phantom Lancer did actually finish his Radiance, but again, just look at the damage being thrown out by the Silencer. He's running in there. He's getting the Shivas up. Ice are playing very defensively. They're playing smart. They haven't actually taken that much damage yet. Magnus just popped his Refresher Orb, so he does have Reverse Polarity up again. Queen of Pain throwing out our BKB. A lot of damage going on Weaver, and actually, Ice doing okay so far. They've really managed to avoid getting locked down. But again, the Phantom Lancer can't go in here. He can't actually do anything to the Silencer. He's sort of forced to immediately peel back. A lot of damage getting thrown out. They're going to take down the Aegis. Reverse Polarity goes out only on one, so again, No Fire not landing their ultimates. But Silencer are about to come back up right from his Aegis of the Immortality. Phantom Lancer are forced to retreat yet again, but again, No Fire haven't quite gotten it yet. Actually, they saved their fortification until right now, so Ice playing an extremely good base defense here, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. They are taking a lot of damage on the racks. A couple of kills getting taken down, a big Sonic away from the Queen of Pain, but the Black Hole gets thrown out. The Phantom Lancer is caught in it. This is unfortunate for them. Will the Weaver go down? That's the current question. Phantom Lancer actually manages to escape barely, but this Silencer is still up. He's still alive and still tearing apart Ice. And so, I don't know, nearly perfect play from them. The execution there was incredible, and it's not enough.
I think that was another 4 kills onto Whitebeard. He was almost looking at a second Rampage in the same game.
Yeah, it's really just the Phantom Lancer that escapes, and only by the skin of his teeth. And again, what did Radiance do for them there, right? Like,
yeah, it wasn't doing anything. The problem is, again, with the Rubik, it's not doing any burn damage. And with the rest of the lineup, it's just not very, it's not a lot of damage. Like,
yep.
And the worst part about it is the illusions don't get the damage either.
Right.
So it's like,
I think if he was going to go Radiance, he went for it way too late. Like, this late Radiance, I really think Heart would have done so much more in this fight. Like, Phantom Lancer was forced to leave, and he wouldn't have had to leave quite as soon as if he had that Heart.
If you wanted a Radiance...
They are going to take down Whitebeard, so they do actually manage to pick up the Silencer. This is a critical kill for them. He will be able to buy back, though, trivially, if he needs to, which he may not even. And Weaver's going to walk away from this fight, no problem as well. They do get the buyback on Silencer. So, I don't know. I think, in terms of execution, just in terms of pure play, were just vastly more on point in that fight. Like,
absolutely,
they managed to bait out so many ultimates in unfavorable
They were
positions.
super coordinated. They actually dodged the first Magnus ult. The first one was complete whiff.
Yep.
He didn't hit anything. And then he refreshed, and then he only hit one.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the black hole, it only hit 2, and they didn't actually have that much damage to follow it up with at the time. So Ice playing extremely well, but the real tragedy is, at this point, it's not enough to play vastly better. You still sort of
it doesn't even matter how well they're playing. Benhaz is too far behind in terms of farm.
Yep.
Even Weaver would give him a run for his money at this point, just because of the heart.
Yep.
Like it's really in a brawl between tanks, you got to have something to one up your opponent.
Absolutely. And Radiance is not it.
Radiance isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Butterfly and Heart, those are items that one up your opponent.
Yeah.
Radiance is not.
So yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like they might have actually been able to, because Whitebeard got really low, but it was just like, where is that last bit of damage going to come from for Ice to take down that Silencer? Because if you don't take down the Silencer, he's going to rampage sooner or later. Like, he's going to kill all of your heroes. And so they needed that additional dose of somebody who can stay on that Silencer and do damage to him. And if that's not Phantom Lancer, who can it be? I mean, this Queen of Pain isn't really going anywhere. Like, she's still working towards her Orchid. She's certainly not going to become some sort of like auto-attacking menace anytime soon.
Absolutely. Honestly, that buyback probably unnecessary from Whitebeard.
Yeah, definitely. They didn't need to buy back. Like, they were in no danger of getting a counter push. They still have 2 outer towers up, for Christ's sake.
This is the big thing about aggression. The game favors aggression heavily because if you lose a fight on the enemy side, doesn't matter. They can't push into you.
Yeah.
They don't have the time. You lose a fight on your side, that's a Rax.
Yeah, absolutely. They're actually, they do try to kill off that illusion right there. So that's a big, big warning to Ice that there's a smoked team trying to chase them down. So they're playing very defensive. They're all sitting inside their base right now.
Luckily, the big thing about it is that you can't see abilities being used. You know what item I'd love to see on Silencer? There are 2 things I'd love to see. BKB.
Sure.
Or Butterfly.
I think BKB is probably what he's going to go for next, and it is a very strong option, because honestly, what is actually doing reasonable, like, he's got this heart, but he's still copping a lot of damage just from, usually it's been the Jakiro Ice Path Macropyre. Like, that's doing a lot of work, and so I think the Silencer, adding on BKB would really just give him that additional ability to just, he really wants to, you can tell that he just wants to stand and deliver and kill everybody, and BKB is what he needs to actually be able to do that.
Absolutely, I think the BKB, or even the Butterfly, if he's really concerned about the Phantom Lancer, Butterfly would be his best bet.
Yeah. But I think...
not the Butterfly, more fun, Ethereal Blade.
Sure, why not? I mean, turning off his auto attack is probably not what he wants to do.
That's not true, though. He can still just, orb walk.
Oh, right. You're
if he's on his game, he just orb walk. But here's Roche coming right back up.
Yep.
This is the 3rd Roche. This is cheese.
Yep. So this'll probably be. I mean, they're probably gonna just put the Aegis on.
Silencer.
Yeah, on Silencer again.
No, they're gonna give it to
cheese.
The cheese is probably gonna go to Weaver.
Yeah, you're probably right. That makes the most sense.
Well, let's look how much damage.
Yeah,
Roche.
at this point, Roshan is going to die extremely quickly. They don't even need any sort of armor reduction. They can just absolutely destroy him.
It's not like the armor reduction really does anything. Silencer just does so much damage.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. The Silencer with the Empower is hitting 300 plus damage.
Yep.
Never mind the additional
pre-glaives. Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind the additional 180.
Yep.
How much damage is that?
176.
76 with the glaives. Yeah. That's an absurd amount of damage.
It's absolutely insane. If we just look at the heroes, like, we're talking about a Shadow Demon who has 967 HP. Like, that Silencer is gonna I think trivially 2-hit him.
2 or 3 hits. There's nothing that they...
Maybe 3, but I think 2.
Maybe 3, just because of the arm.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. Well, I'm sure it'll come up pretty soon, so we'll be able to scope out just how quickly that happens.
We can count it.
Yeah, we'll do some count.
Just 1, 2. It's like the
2
count.
last. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Shadow Demon? Alright, they're going to start with a good vacuum into Ice Path, and the wall is down, but this might have been a little preemptive. I'm not sure Ice can actually chase this out.
The problem is that Ice have no follow-up.
Yeah.
So if they get, like, the best initiation in the world, they have no follow-up.
Yep. And at this point, No Fire can easily wait out this wall if they so desire and just immediately go in after that. Keep in mind, there's still no Tier 3 tower here that's been taken down, so they don't have to worry about that dealing any damage.
They just gotta get the racks, and with the wall down, that's gonna really kill their turning ability.
Oh yeah, the wall being down is actually really consequential. I think Ice thought that they could actually get that fight started, but No Fire very, very sensibly just pulling back. They have time on this Aegis. They don't need to go in before this wall comes down. They can just wait.
Absolutely. But we are seeing that. The wall is down. They're gonna be going in soon.
They're just doing a little bit more reduction of map control. They take out the ward on the high ground here. We've got Dong Dad 420, King of the Mountain up here.
You know what? He can blink wherever he wants now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he just wanted to savor the high ground for another moment. And so the pressure is starting to come out. And at this point, Ice are on the clock. They have to do something. They have to make sure that this Rax doesn't just get taken down. Because the Weaver and Silence are together. They're doing quite a bit of damage. They do have to go in on them sooner or later. The Macropyre goes down, so Whitebeard taking a lot of damage already. He does still have the Aegis, and they take down the melee Rax, so just a little too long before going on them. They could just retreat out of this. A huge reverse polarity catches 3, and Phantom Lancer gets the Black Hole follow-up right on top of him as well. And that's going to be enough coming out from Silencer to take down that PL as well. Darkseer attempted to get away. The Malithus gets thrown out. A good Sonic Wave from Queen of Pain, but again, it's just not quite enough. Queen of Pain actually still alive, but Silencer catches her out. She doesn't have buyback, I don't think. Nope. She had her Orchid, and it's not enough. Silencer, all he loses is Aegis. The Refresher polarity going out on the PL. He will not be able to get out of this alive. He is down to 18 HP, and the Curse from Silencer is enough to take him the rest of the way. And I think that is going to be Game 1.
That is a GG. No Fire with Spawn. Really showing why they won last week. They got some superb coordination here. And the best part was they were really patient about it. Lesser teams would have been really aggressive, just saying, we can take the wall. We have the power to do that.
Yeah.
They were patient. They chose to wait till they had the biggest advantage. They chose to press it into the wave, press it into the base. And they won because of that. Just patient play coming out.
I think as ahead as it looks like they are, and I should say that they won. But I'm saying, as ahead as they were when they were doing that push up into the Raxes, it was very smart to wait, because they could actually have still lost that fight just on the virtue of getting backed up into the wall a couple times, having that Weaver illusion on them, having that Silencer illusion on them, and if the situation at their initial top Rax push had repeated itself, they could easily have lost the fight. I mean, I don't know that in and of itself would have turned the game, but they were just playing very, very smart. And I think in the whole game, they made very few mistakes in terms of not being positioned or not using their abilities correctly. They sort of metered out, when are we going to use these ultimates for their maximum effect? And in each sort of time that they decided to do that, it was just almost perfect coordination in terms of first concentrating on the Queen of Pain, making sure that she couldn't get into the game and really have a dominating presence, and then just pressing all over the map, trying to start team fights and making sure that their ultimates were chained up inside of those fights.
Absolutely. Very, very good coordination coming out of No Fire Wisp Bottom. They were able to chain their ultimates together. In particular, when they actually finally got it in that last push, they were able to get that solid 3-man reverse polarity into a 2-man black hole. Oh, actually 1-man, because the other one got force-staffed out. Lucky him. Into another reverse polarity. And that was like a big win for them. Once they were able to kill the Phantom Lancer, there was literally nothing that could stop them. So, lobby is up, so let's get into this.
Yep. Looks like we're going up into Game 2 in just a minute. I will be back in about 30 seconds. Just going to check on the dinner situation. Be right back.